What's up, everybody? It's your friend Isaac. Welcome back to Big Bike BMX. And we are here to do something that is probably one of my favorite things to do all year round, and that's introduce the 2025 Buckeye Bike Show. Headliner is an amazing one this year. The fellas are here. We got Alan and we got Jamie. They're going to walk us through, first and foremost, what the Buckeye Bike Show event is. I'm not even calling it a Buckeye Bike Show, it's an event. It is a weekend camp. I don't know how to describe this. It is amazing. But fellas, tell me what the Buckeye Bike Show is, and then we'll get into the headliner that you got, and then we'll just talk about what it's like to attend.
Well, it's a bike show and more. We rent the Nutter Center. It's the college Urban J Nutter Center by Wright State. And we host a show, like a bike show. And then we also have a flatland contest. And then the night before, we do a ride out. So while people are in town, we just kind of make the best of it and make it really worth people's trip to come all the way to Dayton, Ohio.
That's pretty amazing. What in the history of the Buckeye Bike Show, can you tell me what is each one of you, Jamie and Alan separately? It doesn't have to be the same year. Uh, give me one of your favorite memories of the Buckeye Bike Show?
That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I think I can tell you my favorite memory is the first year with RL. We did the ride out the first time, and we had 200 some riders, and we're going through Dayton, and everybody's just amazed of like RL's actually out. We can see him and touch him and talk to him, and we had a great ride out, and just turned into a great show that year.
Yep, yep. Alan?
For me, it would be probably Eddie Fiola. He kind of came in, and that was the year for Stu Thompson. Stu Thompson was our headline guest, and Eddie contacted us and asked if he could come, and we're like, yeah, sure, no problem. But when he came, man, it's like he was very entertaining, very approachable, and
Nuh-uh.
just really, just everybody loved him, and everybody loved the fact that he came. It was awesome. And then he came back the following year with Mike Miranda.
And so, I'm going to piggyback off that because that year, Stu, it was Eddie, and Andy Patterson showed up.
Yeah.
And we're sitting at the local restaurant. We take the guest out to a local restaurant. I'm looking at Alan. And I've got Eddie, Stu, and Andy telling stories from the 80s.
Yep.
And that's just, I just thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened. I'm never going to see those three guys in a room ever again.
That's what a great memory to have. I love that.
Yeah, we had other people around us, but it was just a great evening.
But to see Eddie perform on his bike live and in person for us here in Dayton, Ohio, was a huge event. I mean, people out in California see him all the time, and you can see him on movies and YouTube videos all the time. But to see him live and in person doing it, it's a whole new experience, especially for us out here in Dayton in the Midwest. He just doesn't come out here that often. So that was really cool.
Yep, absolutely. And he's such a showman. I love that. So this year the event starts on Friday, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
okay.
The second Friday
June would be 13th.
Well, the second weekend of June.
Okay.
Friday the 13th. And
love
then
it.
that's our ride out. And then and then the Saturday is the show. And then last year, when we did the after party dinner with Hollywood, was such a huge success. Everybody was contacting us and asking if we was going to do it again. So I asked Ron if he'd be interested in, and he said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I made arrangements with the bar again, and we're going to do it again this year too. So we've already started selling tickets as is January 1. So, and we still got tickets for sale.
So this is, and what are you calling that on the website? Is this like a VIP after dinner, after party?
You got to buy your tickets online, and there's limited, so make sure you get them so you don't be left out.
Website is
BuckeyeBikeshow.com.
okay. I love that. And this is you guys when he's like, it's not just a hangout at a bar. This is the all you can eat hamburger bar. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Why should I know that you take everyone as your VIP package to go to an all you can eat hamburger bar? That's one of the things that like I know is tried and true about the Buckeye Bike Show. I've never gone, I've never been able to go, never gone to the Buckeye Bike Show, but I happen to know that y'all take everybody to the
Oh yeah.
unlimited hamburger spot. I love that. All right, so this is the important part, you guys. Who is the headliner this year?
Ron Wilkerson.
Mr. Ron Wilkerson. So, y'all, a lot of times when we do these, we have the headliner on, but in the most on-brand thing in the entire world, Ron Wilkerson is off somewhere in the world and is not here today to do his announcement. And that's I wouldn't have it any other way, to be real honest with you. So we're just going to talk about what it's like to go, because I think that is almost as important, even maybe even more important. And that's no diss to Ron or anybody that has ever headlined the Buckeye Bike Show, but I feel like this show, it's not about the headliner. That's who people come and that's who you get to be on the poster. But you never know who's going to show up to this event, and that's what I think is great about it. So we happen to have Radical Rick himself, Mr. Damian Fulton, who has attended the Buckeye Bike Show before, knows what this is like. Oh, you haven't gone. You haven't been there
No,
before.
no.
I am a
Oh,
rookie. It will be my virgin season.
bro. Okay. I am so excited about this. I thought you'd been there. This is your first time.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to tell you all the things that I know that goes on at the Buckeye Bike Show, dude. I've heard,
I need
dude,
it.
I'm telling you. So okay, so first of all, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Radical Rick, Damian Fulton, we've been on the show before. We know him, we love him. Damien, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Isaac, and stoked to hear more about the Buckeye Show. I can't wait to be there. I've never been to Ohio, but I've heard so much over the years that I want to show up. I want to have a blast. I want to bring it. I heard the ride out is legendary. So yeah, we're working on some special stuff that we'll be able to announce down the road. It's really going to be great.
So how did you hear about the Buckeye Bike Show?
Over the years, people, I get requests a lot of times to participate at shows, and the Buckeye just has its reputation precedes it. So when I speak with other people, they go, "Oh, have you been to the Buckeye Show?" And there's some that they grow in momentum, and then maybe they fizzle out, and they can't sustain. But the Buckeye Show, the reputation is it's continuing to grow. You guys got a new venue, which is awesome. And it feels like there's more and more people getting involved and great names too. So, I mean, what I'm hoping people do is they don't just do a drive-by, show up for a few hours. I'd love to see, kind of a, festival situation, so that there's just we get the full gestalt of the BMX community. That's what I'm looking forward to.
It's basically that.
Each year we've learned little things each year that we've added to the show. It's definitely helped it.
But yeah,
Yeah,
after the ride out, we all convene at the hotel, and the bar stays open late for us, and that's where the party's at.
Yeah, a lot of BMX
people party
stores.
there.
A lot of BMX stores going on there.
So it's an all weekend event. I mean, they come this far, they're going to make the most of it, and try to provide it.
What hotel? Do you have a specific hotel? What hotel do you recommend people go to, or is this on the website?
We have the host hotel, who we've dealt with since RL Osborne in 2021. It was the Holiday Inn. However, they've undergone a name change. They are now the Hilton. So you can go to our website, and when you click on the link to book your hotel, it's now the Hilton. But or it's actually the DoubleTree by Hilton. So it's
fancy.
The Holiday Inn.
Yeah, they treated us great. They got a nice room, nice bar area, a lot of parking. It's right across from the Nutter Center. Hell, the first year, RL rode his bike there.
Yeah,
he just rode over.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
I love that. All right, so make sure you head over to the website, buckeyebikeshow.com. Check out all of the links. It'll give you all of the information on hosting, things like that. Damien, I cannot wait to hear you come back and tell me about this, but I'm just going to tell you all of the fun stuff that I see when I go. So I would echo what you had to say, where to me, I feel like the Buckeye Bike
Right.
Show, from my point of view, I live on the West Coast, and this is like something that basically grew and grew, and now it's the spot on the like Midwest to the East Coast. This is where everyone congregates if you're old school BMX. If you want the experience, right? This is where you go. It's going to have headliners. You're going to meet your heroes. The magazines are going to come to life. What I've really enjoyed the most is watching like the Flatlanders come in, like Joe and the Dave Norrie, just kind of come in Large Ray. We just talked about this Large Ray, Gary Pollock. Like these are legend of our
Right.
sport
Right.
that are not part of like
Yeah.
they weren't brought in for they come because they are fans of BMX and they know this is where people are going to be. And so that's what I really want you, the listener,
Right.
to understand and convey this. I can't say this enough. This is about you, and you are going to walk around Disneyland with all of the characters of your youth. That's the best way to describe it. It's
Yeah.
BMX Disneyland where instead of Mickey, it's Radical Rick, right? It's You're going to have Ron Wilkerson. You had him on your wall. He's there hanging out, and it is going to be the wildest time. I've met the guy, and he is an amazing speaker. He's amazingly inspirational, and at the same time, will just make you go, I have no idea what you just said. At the same time, all of that, you will carry all of that with you. Meeting
He is
Ron
a bit of
Wilkerson.
a mystery, isn't he? You know, I just saw him
Enigma.
at an event in Laguna Beach a few weeks ago. It was a book drop, the birth of freestyle, special guest
Yes.
stars. And I mean, it was definitely a who's who, kind of an industry thing. Much more, not so much fan based, but kind of the all the giants were there.
Yep.
And he's an anomaly, and gets some accolades, and then you go to talk to him, and he's gone. Or you'll be talking with him, and you'll turn your head to talk to somebody else, and he's gone.
Yeah.
So it'll be great to have him stuck in one location.
100%. 100%. It's just going to be wild. He
Yeah,
has such an inspirational, like his message. I mean, he's just going to talk and everything he has to say, just
yeah,
you're like, he's like a life coach. That's the best way to describe it. And you're like, I have no idea how this works. But then you're just like, he's a successful business owner, like how many times, right? And you're like, he's brilliant. He's our so far beyond like the freestyle stuff is what makes me like have a good time, y'all, because
yeah,
Ron Wilkerson will absolutely motivate you and inspire you. It's the best way to describe it.
yeah, yeah.
When
So
did you
Damien,
guys first meet Ron? What's your first experience when you first met him years ago?
who or me?
Yeah, both of you. I mean, you guys have met him. What was that first impression like? Or
Damien, I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Well, ironically, my first impression of Ron was only in the pages or the dark room of BMX Plus. Because when I would go to the magazine, I was super fortunate, but you have to remember the world of BMX Plus was like BMX Action, I would imagine. It's a bunch of nerdy guys who wait for what John Carr or one of the photographers, Wendy Osborne, brought back home. Like they went out hunting and they bring out their proof sheets. So we didn't always get to see these guys ride. They were traveling all around the country. Well, we got to see, and remember, everybody, you youngins that are watching, there was no YouTube, there's no phones, there's nothing. So you live and died off what images were in the magazine. And I was fortunate enough, I'd come in because I'd have to drop off my Radical Rick, and then I could sit and talk to the editors, and the photographers that were there, and they'd be pulling out their proof sheets, their slides. So my first vision of Ron is about that big in a color slide, and he was one of I think the freestyle guy. If you think about the BMX guys, they're in the heat of the battle. There's really no posing or posturing, or there is no voguing, right? they might be a jump session and or a bike test, and they might be able to go off and, do a trick. But when freestyle hit, that was the first form of expression. And it kind of timed and dovetailed with not hip hop, but like breakdancing. So there was already like eyeballs looking at young people doing cool stuff that we hadn't seen before, and how much could you elevate it? And you talk to those early pioneers, Haro and Eddie. There was always this, and Ron. I mean, there was. That's how you do it, right? Like you try a trick, then the next guy tries a trick. So to answer your question, I don't know when I finally saw him. Might have been at a trade show or something like that, or some kind of industry event. But to see how dynamic that guy was and how he knew where the camera was amazing. Like there's a couple guys that do amazing tricks, but they weren't quite as photogenic. So that was my first expression. Really, and by the way, every time you showed up, there was a new face. Keep in mind, the lifespan of a BMXer was only 3 years, right? Because, these impressions like Stu, he might have had a little bit longer one because of his additional, relation he had with bike manufacturers, Huffy and stuff, that helped expand his.
He was the first superstar. Yeah, he was the first superstar.
Absolutely.
But a lot of these guys, they came in, and you might come in. I might come to the BMX Plus offices, and they might be talking about this new kid. This kid Matt Hoffman. I mean, he's doing weird stuff, and you go, well, how weird? And then you hear the stories, and so I'll come full circle after you're done, Isaac. I'll pass it over to you because, and I'll tell you how the story full circle.
I'll be honest. I met the first time I was lucky enough to have heard about something called Summit 43 from Factor Freestyle. And it was basically like a during COVID, man. It was like we were all in lockdown. Everyone was bummed out. And they were like, hey, $43, we're gonna host an online conference for freestyle, right? And it was it basically was nutrition, stretching, things like that, like things that people of my age should be doing to continue to ride bikes effectively. There was stuff like that. Then it was life coaching with Ron Wilkerson. So it was basically a 3 hour sit down, like Zoom session with like 12 of us and Ron Wilkerson. And he shared his story, and we all just sat there with our like jaws open, and like he started like basically like after freestyle all the way through the end of freestyle, starting his business in Santa Cruz, covered like two hip, things like that. Like the man is unstoppable. And so it's one of those things when I tell you he's just inspirational, he'll pick up a story and he's just so good at telling it because there's so much authenticity to what he has to say, and the way he tells his stories are just very entertaining. So you're in for a real treat. Anyone that gets to meet him, absolutely. Please, if you're anywhere near Buckeye Bike Show, please get this opportunity under your belt, because you do not want to miss one of like this. He's a superstar with this, one of the superstars of freestyle BMX, Ron Wilkerson. He's also from NorCal, and so I claim that too. So super psyched about that.
Yeah, I was going to say fast forward, maybe it was 10 years ago when he got inducted in the BMX Hall of Fame. And I did the poster that year. So, and they have in that category, they have old timer and they have all these different categories in there. And Ron was in. And so I drew him, and it was really special, to get to draw him. And again, like if you're an artist and what you're all about is trying to be expressive, and if you have I always work for references. I try to make things look accurate and energetic and action packed. And man, that was really cool. I can't wait to see him. I think I have one of the original posters with him on it, and that'd be pretty cool to get him, to get that in front of him again.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Last for
So
an autograph. I'm going to be an adoring fan.
I'll
you
tell you.
signed
I'll
it.
tell you the first time I met Ron. Um,
Tell
their
me. Yeah.
1986 tour. They came to Kettering, Ohio. They went to K&G Bike Center down the road from me, and that's the first time I have ever seen. I seen Ron. It was Nori and Blyther that
Oh.
day. And then afterwards we're all mobbing him for autographs and stickers, and there had to be 300 people there.
Wow.
And it's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube.
Oh.
How long ago was that?
1986. That's the only time I've ever seen him ride or met him.
That was a good year for all of that. That was getting hot.
Yeah.
Well, I met Ron 3 years ago. Xavier Mendez, who came to our show with Mike Buff.
Right.
When he went back to California, he invited us, Jamie and I, to go out there to California for the 40th anniversary of Mike Buff and R.L. Osborne. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was 2022 from 82. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then while we were there, a lot of the big names were there, including Ron. And it was at this dinner banquet party, and Ron was sitting a couple tables in front of me, and I had to catch my flight. I'm like, well, before I leave, I got to go talk to Ron. So I excused myself from the table. I went up to Ron. I'm like, hey, Ron, I'm Alan, with the Buckeye Bike Show. I was like, would you be interested in coming out? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm like, oh, cool. Can you sign this for me? He signed it. And I was like, well, I'll see you in a couple of years, and I'll keep in contact. And that's how that started.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be a guest. I guarantee you. It's going to be great.
So, Damian, I think the last time I saw you, you had that exact jacket on. And
Here, Isaac, is this the jacket you're talking about?
you can go back to my my Dirty Fest video. Keep your arm up. Keep your arm up. There we let me make sure it's on. Yeah,
There
okay.
it is. Now can you see it?
Yep. If you go back to my Dirty Fest video, you will see this, and you will hear my utter surprise that you made that with a Sharpie. That is just amazing. So, last time that I saw you, it was at your booth at Dirty Fest, and I was blown away by the amount of like the merch that you had, but how thought out and thoughtful it was. Because a lot you could have just slapped. I'll be honest, you could have just put Radical Rick on anything, and I would have been like, I'm in. I want that. Because of what it's like. Jamie Allen, I'm sure you would agree. Like, we all grew up loving that image. And that was the one we could put them on our walls, but that was it. At least with freestyle, riders, I could go out and I could ride, but Radical Rick was in my mind. And so being able to get that moment to like meet you, which is amazing, but then seeing like, hey, I can actually take a little bit of my childhood nostalgia with me, I thought was fantastic. What can we expect from you this year at Buckeye? Is there anything you can give us a
I
preview on?
can, and I'm really glad this is the first time I'm announcing it on a podcast. It is the 45th anniversary of Radical Rick, believe it or not. 1979, I was a kid, and I was asked to doodle a character for the magazine, and I went away, and a week later I came back with this character, and I did it. It ended up being in the magazines for almost 20 years, on and off in reruns. And what I'm excited about is as a fan came out and he created only 45 of these. They were very much harken back to the old Star Wars figures. I don't know if you can see that. They're hand painted. He originally, this isn't available, but he originally, sculpted this and then made 3D printings of it. This is a prototype. And he started sending me these crazy, like one-offs. Like, here's a clear Radical Rick. I don't know if you can see it. And the little blurb up here said, he's so rad, he's cool as ice. So he was able to sort of capture the cheeky humor of the comic strip. So February 15th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to drop the next figure, which is Scuzzer Switchblade. He's that guy. If you move your head just a little bit, Isaac, move to the left. See that pig-like guy down there? He's coming out with a figure. So that's very cool. And this is the first time I think anybody's ever going to see these. but these are brand new from SCG. This is a prototype, but if you look close, this guy has figured out how to supplement a color. This actually came from this is a prototype, so we're just trying to take a look at it. But Radical Rick is going to be, he's going to be wearable, which is so cool. Yeah. And then finally, the last thing I'll tell you is Bill Allen and I teamed up, and this is a print that's coming out, and it's a backflip finish with Crew Jones. It'll be signed by Bill Allen and Radical Rick, a finish. There's all kinds of crazy 80s characters in there as well. So that's some of the stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm hoping to bring some to you guys at the Buckeye Show. If we don't sell out, I'll definitely bring what I can. I'll have some books too, the complete episode. And there's also some specials. I don't know whether we're ready to talk about it, but down the road, we'll talk about some special things we're going to be doing out there as well.
Bill Allen actually came to
God,
our
that's
show.
all I got. Just
That's
so
a lot. That's a lot.
much stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Bill Allen was actually at our show 2 years ago with Stu Thompson.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, that was a big year.
Yeah, that was a real big year.
Nice.
Real big year.
Well,
Yeah, it's exciting.
All this stuff will eventually be dropped. We do limited drops. I kind of like to think of it as microbrewery. It's just not mass-produced stuff. And that is going to be on radicalrickbmx.com. And if you follow me on Instagram, we try to give as much heads up and timing for everybody to know when they're going to drop, so everybody gets a fair shot at it. A lot of times this stuff sells out. I want to clarify something, Isaac. It's so funny is I think last time I talked to you, we were just dropping the hardcover book, and we did this because we when I say we, as me and a buddy, put it together because we thought it would be great to have all the episodes in one place so people could look through it. Makes great bathroom reading and relive their childhood. And we don't have giant warehouses or such big pockets. We're not Amazon where we print thousands of these. So we did a small run. They sold out. Oh my gosh, the hate mail. Unbelievable. I don't know. Do you guys get that too, where people are just like, why didn't you make 8 billion of those? Just another money grabbing scheme to drive up prices. No, not really. I'm not a book dealer. I just thought this would be a cool thing to have. We did end up doing a paperback version, which is much cheaper. We got tons of those, so we're not going to run out of those for a while. But we try to just do good work that people like, that feel like it's authentic to the brand, and try to sell it at a good price. And if people like it, it's great. And if not, I don't know, go to another site, I guess. But I'll bring a bunch of stuff, Jamie and Alan, to the event. Things that I think would be fun, and maybe some new things that people haven't seen.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Awesome.
I hate to even bring up what I bought because I have a feeling they're probably sold out because I got something so cool. But this is what I will tell you. Go and you just go check out Damian's booth. There are the most random things. I went there to buy a hat, and instead I bought a challenge coin that was like a 3D beveled, really intricately made challenge coin. And I'm like, challenge coins are cool. It's like bronze looking. It looked very cool. And I was like, let me check that out. And I pick it up, and it's heavy. It's like, it's got weight to it. And I was like, oh, this is for my desk. I love this. I can have Radical Rick on my desk every single day. And so I was like, let me get that. And then I remember, I was like, hey man, can you sign it for me? And poor Damian, it's super dusty. It's a challenge coin, and he's trying to get his name exactly like I would remember it, in the magazine.
Right.
And on a coin that's, a coin. Poor guy. And but bro, you pulled it off.
That's what I remember. There was 0 space between him jumping and some lettering, but I found a little tiny tiny.
it was so
That was fun. That was funny. Dirty Fest with all those mini tornadoes whipped through, and I came out of that place and I had dust in my ears everywhere. That
yeah.
fine silt dust. But that was a great event, though. That was
Yep.
cool. That's what it's going to be like at Dirty Fest, I imagine. Every time you turn a corner, you run into an old friend, or I saw people I hadn't seen in 40 years. It was great.
Yep. And basically, I was telling Mike, like, I think, I mean, the Buckeye Bike Show is Dirty Fest East. Like that's where everyone congregates. That's where everyone goes. Like if you can't make it to Dirty Fest, people are like, this is it. And so it's like I feel so much FOMO, like fear of missing out, the weekend of a Buckeye, because all of my friends are posting, they're all there, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you're scrolling through Instagram, right? And you're like, oh, that's cool. Like there's like Miranda, like Hollywood's posting his things, and I expect that. The Buckeye Bike Show's posting, I expect that. Poor boy Steve, and right. So at this point, I'm like, man, it's like five of my friends are there.
Yeah.
And then like Dave Norrie, like someone posts Dave Norrie. I'm like, that's at Buckeye. Dave Norrie's at Buckeye. I had no idea Dave Norrie was going to Buckeye, right? And then so you scroll more and you're like, oh, Eddie Fiola's there. Oh, of course Eddie Fiola's there, right? And Bill Allen's there. And
Well,
you don't know it's the place to be because you're just going to look around and you're like, I know all of these people, and it blows my mind how big it gets every year. Like
yeah.
large Ray, the Fact and Freestyle folks were out there like broadcasting, Gary Pollock, Scotty Freeman, you know what I mean? And like Scotty Freeman lives in Seattle. You know what I mean? Like it's
And
just
you know what? That's a really good point. It is. I mean, there's a couple events. The not to keep talking about Dirty Fest, but Dirty Fest was sort of birthed out of the old Chula Vista home. That was like a reunion of old BMXers, right? And then when the Hall of Fame moved out, that's really how Mike, thought this would be a great place to. And when I talked with Mike goes, okay, there's only a couple events you want to go to. And his point was that the Buckeye is like the exactly as you said. It is the epicenter from everybody who's not on the coast.
Right.
Exactly. And I don't know if there's event as big on the East Coast as the Buckeye. It seems to.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much the biggest show at this point, BMX related. Yeah.
People, I mean, my friends from Florida are there. You know what I mean? Like you see
Right.
people there from Florida. Didn't you have people international? People came internationally. So
Right.
Australia, I think.
yeah, it's Australia. BMX is huge in Australia.
Oh yeah.
And so
No
shout
kidding.
shout out to the Aussies.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a shout out to Shane Jenkins and Shane Collins and Shane Jenkins, BMX Ultra, my good friends over in Australia. Amazing dudes, but BMX is huge over there, so I'm not even surprised that people are coming over to the Buckeye Bike Show from Australia to meet,
Yeah.
because where else are you going to meet Stu Thompson? How are you going to find, where are you going to see Mike Miranda? Where are you going to see Ron Wilkerson? We can't get Ron Wilkerson on here, so where else are you going to find Ron Wilkerson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So good. That's a great point.
And the thing that we do that most people don't, we get a hold of our guests like 2 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then we start promoting the day of our show for the next year. So we have an entire year to get the word out to let everybody know who's coming for the next show. Most people, they're like, hey, let's do something next month. And then I got like 30 days for people to find out about it. So we give everybody a whole entire year.
while you're on that, why don't you recap the weekend real quick for everybody? Kind of what starts on Friday and how it transfers.
Okay.
True.
Well, we do our ride out. We convene at a park, which is about 3 miles south of Dayton. It's called Carillon Park. It's a historical park. Actually, there's a Wright Brothers bicycle shop inside of Carillon Park. So if you
Wow.
pay $12, you can go inside Carillon Park, and it's like going back in time in like the 1800s, and you can walk in, and it's a recreation of Orville and Wilbur Wright's bicycle shop. It's so cool. That's where we start our ride out, and then we go from there into downtown Dayton, which is about a 3 mile ride. We go into downtown Dayton to our local
Minor league baseball
team called the Dayton Dragons.
Yeah.
And in front, there's like this open area where we convene, make a big circle, and then the freestyle guys get out there and do some tricks. So we hang out there for about a half hour or so. And then by the time we start heading back, the sun starts setting, and we get back and it's kind of dark, and we load up our bikes and head back to the hotel and have a couple drinks and socialize, and then wake up the next morning and go to the show. Show starts at 7 a.m. and we last all day long until about 4. And then this year, like we did last year, after the show, we're going to a cold beer and cheeseburgers where you can get a all-you-can-eat burger buffet and convene, listen to Ron Wilkerson tell his stories, and listen to Damian tell his stories, and it's going to be a good time.
Whoever else shows up too.
Yep.
You will never know anymore.
Oh, Andy Patterson. Andy Patterson is coming back.
He's coming back.
He said he had such
Really?
a great time last time he was here. He said he wanted to come back. So
he'll be back.
if you missed out on Andy last time, you'll don't miss him out this time. So
Right. Patterson fan, Skyway fan, like that's like he's a great guy. Absolutely great guy.
Yeah.
Super fun to hang out with as well. Lots of stories. All right. So one more time, website to get the tickets and to get more information is
BuckeyeBikeshow.com.
perfect. Okay. And tell me a little bit. I mean, Jamie, if you don't mind showing off the t-shirt, it looks like
Yeah.
this has now become a tradition. So
Yeah.
showing off the shirt.
Yeah. Well, Ron Wilkerson.
Yeah, we just did a silhouette this year.
Silhouette. Yeah.
And then the where it says Ron Wilkerson, that's in the Haro font.
Yeah.
So the R and the O are just like Haro.
Ooh, that's like an Easter egg.
I like that. I like that. And you'll have posters and things like that. So if I show up without posters and t-shirts
like this one.
Yep.
And then
So-
posters will be the same image, but the background won't be white. It'll be the Haro colors, the blue, and green.
Nice. Good job. I like that. All right. What other like what else can I expect like when I'm walking around, when I get inside the doors, give me just a quick from your memory, like looking left to right, what kind of vendors, what kind of stuff will I see?
Well, the vendors now our venue is, like I said, is the Irvin J. Nutter Center, Wright State Nutter Center. It's not the main arena, so it's actually around back on the lower level. It's in what's called the McClin Gym. So when you walk in, the first thing you see, it opens up into a huge 28,000 square foot arena minus the bleachers. So the vendors' tables are set up around the perimeter. About a third of the floor is roped off area for freestyle. And then the remaining 28,000 square feet are for people to set up their bikes, put them on display on the basketball floor.
And we'll have a booth set to the side for Ron.
Yeah.
Meet and greet, sign autographs, We kind of don't give him a set schedule, kind of let the guests do their thing. Don't want to pigeon them in anything. Just do what you want to do that day.
It's pretty relaxed.
Yeah, relax. It seems to work out real well.
There's a lot of traffic flow, so
Yeah.
everybody's moving. It's pretty cool.
Freestyle show is great.
I love that. I love that. All right. So when we look at, I'm just trying to think of like anything else that we need to tell Damian about this show. We've covered, I think we got some ride out action. We've got some in big bikes, 20-inch bikes. Ride Out tended to be, I don't want you to think this is just a big bike event.
No, it's
20-inch
all
bikes are very friendly, very, very friendly for 20. In
oh
fact,
yeah.
probably mostly 20-inch. And you're going to sit there and drool over all the old school bikes. You'll likely see quite a few Damien's bikes out there. Oh, the Haro Radical Rick collab. So good opportunities to see Damien at the Buckeye Bike Show. Bring your Haro bikes out there. Uh, and then so we've covered the ride out that night. Damien, you kind of get an idea what the venue and the floor is going to look like. And then we got the party afterwards where people can come up. Please, I'm going to give you a couple good ones. Please ask Damien about his fine art surfing, what like his fine art stuff that he does, because that will be as mind blowing and I will say nostalgic. It's a great style that I just find so familiar, and it's just maybe something we all grew up in the same time period, and it's like it's really well done, and you have to ask him about that. Please, please, please do that.
Thanks, Isaac. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and then please also just ask him about the jean jacket. I hope you take that with you. Please, at least take some good pictures of it because ask him how he did this and how long it took him to make a one-off custom Radical Rick jean jacket out of Sharpies. It's amazing. So, sir,
Okay, I'll
sir,
save some stories for the evening for sure.
yep, yep. There's so many, so many. I love this. And if you want to get a little tip, go back, watch. We had an interview with Damien uh in 20 I think we've had you on a couple times for a couple things, different things.
20, oh, I don't remember.
So we had you on for the Haro release, and then we had you on when we were talking about the book, and it's fun for me to hear like, oh, now it's on paperback because when we first talked to you, you were just saying, I've got this book. I think I'm gonna do it. And I
Yeah.
think I got to see a little bit of a panel of a book. And so now here we are. I'm sitting back smiling, hearing you sit and talk about like, and the paperback is now coming out. So
Yeah, fun.
you know what I mean? So like for me, I'm like, I don't know how you didn't know about this. Like you've been talking about the book for quite a while. You talked about it before it was ever out. So it's kind of fun.
Well,
But yeah,
that's really sweet of you to say. And what these guys are talking about is this special evening, this special limited restaurant experience with a lot of the pros and a lot of the names from the past. And you're going to be, it's so great. I've been to these things where, you can have beer with them. You can hear their stories. You can tell them stories, and it's so funny when a lot of people connect and a lot of times you don't even realize you knew this guy or you were, you had a previous experience with them or the ones that blow me away. I don't know if you ever had this is like somebody remembers something that happened and you just haven't thought about it in 40 years or 35 years. Remember when we did this and then oh my gosh, that memory was stuck up on a shelf. And until you start discussing and talking about this, it's sort of, it reactivates all those memory centers. It's really a lively, exciting way to open up your brain to previous adventures.
a
And
hundred
sometimes
percent.
you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to admit to it, but it's just great to see all those guys every year.
Yeah, I can only tell you this. I saw I think maybe like a quick little reel from last year. Mike Miranda, he's standing up at the burger place and he's just talking, sharing a story. And
Yeah,
I got to be honest with you. I mean, maybe 3 weeks before this, he and I went and watched Rad because Rad was on the big screen.
yeah,
He and I posted on Facebook, hey, me and Mike Miranda are gonna go see because he calls me up. He goes, hey, do you want to go see Rad? I was like, yeah, where are you gonna see it? He's like, it's playing by over by your house. I was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna grab 4 tickets like for like me, my wife, my kid, and then I was like, how many do you want? He's like, just grab me one wherever you're sitting. Cool. We buy them, and then I just put it on Facebook, talking like people getting mad about you. I just put on Facebook, hey, if you want to go see Rad with Mike Miranda, we're going to see it at this theater. They have no idea we're doing this. This is no promo. I'm just saying, like, if you go to this theater, we bought these tickets. Come see it with us. And so we sold out. Like, they added an extra one because they're like, AMC probably thinks like, man, Rad is really popular at this one particular theater. Like, we're just blowing it out of the water, and they have no idea. But
Oh, that's cool.
afterwards we all we did is we left the movie and said, hey, we're going to Chili's. And so we went over to Chili's in the same parking lot, and Mike was just hanging out telling a story. So what I'm saying is you get the exact same experience at the Buckeye Bike Show at this VIP thing as it's just what they're doing. This is like what it's like going to have a hamburger with Mike, because I'm like, I just did this like two weeks ago. I'm looking at him do this and I'm like, this is exactly what I did with him. This is the
Yeah.
most like normal thing. So I can tell you it is the most, it's exactly like hanging out with your friends. There's not a show going on. They are hanging out, having beers, getting to know. I mean, they're going to ask you, hey, tell me about your family. You know what I mean? Just get ready to hear about, they want to hear about your bike as much
Yeah.
as you're going to ask them about their bike. I promise you, they're going to be like, what kind of bike did you ride? We all turn into 13-year-olds. You know, it's like if you met
That's
another
exactly right.
freestyler, it is. It's like you see another freestyler at like summer camp, right? And you're like, I freestyle. What kind of bike do you have? I have this. Well, what kind of bike did you have? I had this. Literally, you're going to have that conversation with everyone around you, including
Right.
Ron Wilkerson, you know, so it's just a good time. So,
That's so true. And you're going to have these conversations. Which is the bike that you wanted that you didn't get, that you always pined for? And it'll probably be there in mint condition, at the Buckeye Show. So fun.
there'll probably be two of them, right? There'll be
Yeah.
like one that looks like it's right out of a shop and one that looks like it's been ridden, and you're like, I want them
Yeah.
both. You know?
Yeah.
Went
Right.
through a lot of horrors this year. A lot of horrors.
Yeah.
I got mine ready for to sign. I know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Damian, um, do we want to talk about what Jamie and I and you had talked about at the dinner party? What you plan on doing?
Yeah. Isaac, I was telling him, I, I don't want to just show up and be a schlub behind a chair, signing autographs. If I'm going to make the effort to go out there, my favorite thing to do is to draw. And sometimes I'll go to a show and maybe I'll paint a skate deck, with Radical Rick on it or something. And I was telling him, I don't want to upstage Ron at that dinner. I said, what if I did? I'm more comfortable drawing than chit-chatting sometimes. So what if I just draw a picture of Ron from back in the day, the Two Hip Days or something like that, and then during the evening while everybody's chit-chatting and eating, and I don't know, when you're on your fifth hamburger, come swing by and see how much progress I've made. And then by the end of the evening, we'll have some piece of art that's one of a kind, original artwork. I'll sign it, Ron will sign it, and then we'll raffle it off. If you buy, we're thinking that if you bought a ticket to the event, you get a chance, you get a shot on goal to get this piece of artwork. Yeah. And we just donate that to, the vibe of the whole evening, do something cool that everybody can watch progressing. And then at the end of the evening, someone is going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Priceless.
Yeah, priceless.
There's not a lot that'll make me speechless. I'll be real honest. Like I will talk to myself on Zoom by myself. But to walk away with I'm just processing, like, I'm such a nerd for this stuff because it's like, Damien, like you drew like everyone's best friend. And so to have like a one of one from your like, you go to this and this is like this is your BMX vacation. When I do this stuff, I call it my BMX vacation, right? It's my
Right,
this
right.
is my like this is my me time. I hate to sound like that person, but I'm like, this is like, I need this. I have to do this. It's
So
like a pilgrimage. And so like you go to Buckeye and you're like, here I am. I'm with the people that like get me. Every single person in here gets me.
people.
It is your people. You're like, we all grew up and we all did the exact same thing, no matter California to Florida to, the middle of Dayton, Ohio, right? It's literally like we all saw that show. We were just talking earlier, like when did we see Ron Wilkerson first? And I guess if I'm going back to that, yeah, I saw him at a show in Roseville, California. You know what I mean? So that's something that like I don't have I can easily just go, you know what? I know that experience, Jamie, that you said you had because I had it too, right? We all had it at that same year, that same summer. That was our summer, man. And so
Right.
you're going to be there with your friends experiencing that all over again because now you're with all these people that had that same shared experience,
Right.
and Ron Wilkerson is there and Radical Rick is there, right? So you're going to be drawing picture of Ron Wilkerson. Someone's going to walk away going, that is the best vacation that I had for my me time. That's the most amazing vacation. You have a one of one, and it's not even the value in it. It's just that like it's that token of like I was there for that. I was one of the people that were there for that. That's
Cool.
remarkable. Yeah.
I
So
ride, I ride with a lot of guys on the weekends, and this is some of their bucket list. This
Yeah.
is one of their bucket lists.
It's a bucket list thing for
Yeah,
sure.
like I go Buckeye. Actually, I get to meet Ron. I was like, well, that's one of mine too.
yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm thrilled.
I cannot wait for y'all. If you are a fan of this show, you understand this like this shared thing, and if you can get to Buckeye because you will not want to pass up this opportunity to see Ron Wilkerson like one on one, like in amongst like us. Because normally, like Damien said, like he only does industry stuff. It's very rare that he goes out. He just did the Back for More in 24, and other than that, like you just don't see him out and about. So like at a fan experience like that where you just get to hang out with Ron, oh, it's gonna be amazing. And that's something that nobody gets to experience. You don't get that anywhere else. And I can't believe I'll be real honest with you, like I can't believe Alan, Jamie, that you pulled that off. That's such a remarkable thing to get that piece of history in your show. That's amazing.
Well, we just want to do this for our fans,
Yeah,
for everybody's fans.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the most BMX thing ever. I love that. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Jamie Allen, the BuckeyeBikeshow.com. Go over there, get your tickets to the event, get your tickets to the VIP if they are still available when you see this. Make sure you get that swag when you're there because that's going to be it's a one and done. You're not able to get these afterwards. And even if you don't have anything to sign, if you get there, they will have posters that you can buy with the Ron Wilkerson with the Haro colors. You can have just a giant signed piece of thing. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure. I'm going to show you something real quick. This is why I advocate for this because I have this here, which is there we go, a poster from Dirty Fest. It's a
Yeah.
poster from Dirty Fest. And instead of carrying around 300 things for everyone to sign, I bought a poster and had everybody sign it, including Damien. And so it's really and
Cool.
and Damien has a really cool autograph, you guys. Damien has a really cool autograph. So um, so
That's
yeah,
that's a sweet keepsake, isn't it? It's like a
it's
yearbook or something.
it is one of the coolest things I have because it's just I'm gonna tell you, please have some like if you're just gonna go, bring a bunch of stuff from Ron, but bring a poster because you are gonna want Gary Pollock shows up, Large Ray shows up, everybody, Scotty Freeman might be there. You just don't know who's gonna show up. It's
Yeah.
we may be talking about Ron and Damien, but trust me, that is not the only folks from your childhood that you are going to see at
Yeah.
the Buckeye Bike Show. It's just that's who we know at this very moment. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Damien, thank you for your time. Thank you for Radical Rick, and just thank you for making yourself available to my East Coast friends and some
Uh-huh.
that are coming in from Australia
Right.
so that they can meet you and see that cool jacket.
Oh,
Jamie.
hey, listen, thanks for having me. You guys, the stoke behind all this, we all get kind of requests, and this one's legit and it's genuine, and I just know it's going to be rewarding. You got to go to it.
Yep. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Jamie Allen,
You guys,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your time, guys.
Yep. Jamie Allen, thank you so much for what you do for BMX. I cannot thank you enough for the experience that you provide for people and the graciousness to host your city and to bring BMX really to that East Coast. The folks that necessarily can't get out and see it get to see something amazing right there at the Buckeye Bike Show. So thank you for what you do and the way you plan this for years and years. That is some love. I can tell you this is not a money grab. This isn't something that they are, driving Lamborghinis about. This is something that it's a labor of love, and they love to do it, and we love you right back. So gentlemen, thank you so much for what you do.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you
Take
next
care,
time.
everybody.
Alan. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Alan. We'll be seeing you.
All right.
Thank you.